J.J. Abrams said, "You can't satisfy two generations of fans." Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni said, "Hold my beer." Then they proceeded to give us some of the best live-action Star Wars we've seen since the original trilogy. And finally, about a year later, Hasbro decided to give us some toys. So let's look over some of these figures from The Mandalorian. So of course, I love Star Wars figures, and I do feel the Mandalorian series has been one of the greatest things ever. And finally, we're getting some merchandise for it. So I thought let's go over and take a look at some of this merchandise, specifically the Star Wars figures. Okay, so starting off, we'll look at Cara Dune. And the first thing I want to say is, yeah, I know. I heard. And that's all I got to say about it. Now, as for the figure itself, it's a pretty good likeness and looks like the character and has really good posability. I really do like this figure. I think the controversy surrounding it is a little overinflated. I still would give it 4 stars as far as the figure goes. It's nice. Next, going to go to Curie from the Retro Collection. I really only bought this one because I did not think the Vintage Collection would do one, and as soon as I bought it, they announced they were going to do one. Yay, Hasbro! Anyway, really, I have a hard time with these Retro Collections. The low articulation, the whole thing, it's a concept I don't dig. It was just a character I really liked, and I wanted an action figure for it, so here we go. Yeah, on my best day, I could only give it about 2 stars, and I do apologize. I really only slightly regret the purchase. I'm going to keep it, of course, but it's still one of those figures I'm just not very happy with at all. And I really am sick of retro collections. Stop it with the 5-point of articulation crap, please. So next up, we have a Star Wars figure of Carl Weathers. That's awesome in and of itself. Loved his character in The Mandalorian, by the way, but dude, it's Apollo Creed. That right there, just awesome. It just reeks of awesome, to borrow a phrase from Edge and Christian. So just on the basis of being Carl Weathers alone, I really want to give this one a high rating. It's just really cool and awesome. Now, unfortunately, the figure does have its issues. Mainly, the biggest issue is the fact that some of the plastic does kind of inhibit the articulation a little bit. Just on that level, I'm probably going to have to give this one 4.5 stars instead of what I want to give it is 5. It's not a bad figure by any stretch. It's a good figure, just that's one little knock on it is all. So now we move on to IG-11, who is really, what an articulated figure. The head has 3 joints of articulation, which match up with what's in the show. I really thought this was going to be a case they just redid the old IG-88 from the vintage line from way back when, I think 2008 or so, and they didn't. They really came out with a really cool, interesting figure that has wacky articulation, like sort of from the Clone Wars line. The IG-70s, I think they were from that line. It's close to that, but even better. This one, I got to give it up. That's 5 stars for sure. That is a really, really cool figure. I really, really love it. It's really, really awesome. Give me another reason to say really. Please. This figure does it. So next up we have the star of the show. That's right. It's the Mandalorian. So, of course, because he's the star of the show, you gotta pack him with a bunch of extra stuff and charge a little bit more. And make him a store exclusive. Great job, Hasbro! So, despite my lamentations, it is a cool figure. I do like it. It comes with the child and, of course, a swappable head that you can use for Din Djarin himself. That's pretty nifty. So, you know, if they ever come out with a 3 3/4 inch version of the Mountain, we can replay that fun little fight from Game of Thrones, can't we? Of course, if we did, I'm sure this time Pascal would keep his helmet on, but that's beside the point. And of course, he comes with the Beskar and also Wilro Hood's little ice cream maker. What a fun nod. So yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, this one is really super cool. I have to give him 5 stars. It's a really cool figure of a really cool character with some really cool stuff with it. I love it. I like it. Give me more Hasbro. Give me more Mandalorian. Yeah, and so speaking of more Mandalorian, I thought I'd just add this little one in at the end. This is, of course, the original look of the Mandalorian. This was a really hard one to find. I finally tracked it down. Very happy with it. It's a really cool looking figure. I mean, I have to admit, the shiny version of Mando has kind of overridden that original look. The original look is really cool, though. Very much. I really like it. This one I'm going to give another 5 stars. It's just a cool figure. Cool figure to have. Just cool all around. So, this is going to wrap up part 1 of this review of some Mandalorian figures. Stay tuned for part 2. Should be coming along in a couple of days now. But until then, don't forget to like and subscribe.